Hi, all. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's staying safe and staying productive. I want to thank everybody again for all your continued flexibility with the current situation and with the ever changing procedures that we're doing on a daily basis. And I hope these YouTube videos are working well for you to stay on top of kind of what we're working on. So just a couple things that we've decided to do to clamp down a little further. We had a couple things that came up yesterday. For example, seeing the vending machine company wanting to come on site and restock the vending machine and some other service providers. We're going to further clamp down to ensure that only necessary external visitors are coming into the building. So we've reached out to the vending company, and we're going to make sure we clamp down on anybody else that's not necessary to come in the building. So at this point, the only people external that we're planning on allowing in the building are customers, of course, if they need to come in and do a source inspection, DCMA for government inspections, and then if we have an IT issue, Charles IT or a copier company will let them come in. We do want to make sure that they are getting their temperature taken. We want to make sure that if they are going to be on site, that they put a mask on. We want to make sure that they hold on to that mask, so if they have to come back, they can use that same mask. The reality is that we have a limited supply of the mask. We're good for our employees. We're good for a couple of weeks. We don't really know how long this process is going to take, and if we're having to give out a mask to every visitor that comes in the building, we're going to quickly deplete our supply. We're also going to try to do the best we can to make sure that if we have somebody that comes in on first shift to do some service, that's not a person that would come in on the second shift, that they would get somebody else. So we're really trying hard to work through that, to clamp down on that. Brian Carr, Scott Oberg, those of you in first and second shift that are responsible, just if you have any questions, it's err on the side of caution. Unless it's 100% necessary, let's turn them away. Have them call me if they have any issues. So as we speak about that, I mentioned that I really don't have a good feel for how long this process will go. We talked 2 weeks ago before we put this new process in place that we're going to do it for 2 weeks and assess the situation from there. We're coming to the middle of the second week. At this point, we don't see any indication that we're going to be able to go back to quote unquote normal next week. So, at this point, plan on continuing for another week, possibly two, in the same work from home for those of you that don't touch product. If everybody that's on first shift inside the building, continue to stay on first shift. If you're on second shift, we're going to want you to stay on second shift. If any of you have a hardship that's caused by staying on that given shift for a longer period of time, let Carol know, let Rich know, and we'll try to facilitate through it. We'll try to figure out if there is anything that we can do and what the ramifications of that is. What ramifications are there? Again, I have no idea how long this is going to go, but my focus here is how do we continue to make sure we're meeting customer demand. In fact, I just got off the phone with one of our largest customers for about an hour, and they were very pleased to hear all the steps that we were taking and what we were doing, and the fact that right now we have no indication that for their products, that was TSS, that for their products we're on schedule and we're going to continue to be. So he was very pleased to hear that. So I know our efforts are being well received from our customers. That being said, one of the things that we're looking at, because this might go longer, I don't have a strong feel for what the overall financial impact is going to be. We're talking to our suppliers on a daily basis. We're talking to our customers on a daily basis. We're talking to our customers on a daily basis. We see that MTU just shut down all of their operations for 3 weeks. We see Airbus shut down some of their facilities. Boeing shutting down some of their facilities just to have this quarantine. So I think this will have a ripple effect all the way down to us. We're mentally preparing for that now. Paul and his team are being very, very active with cash conservation and getting additional cash. We've been negotiating with our banks. We've been negotiating with our lenders to get a stay on paying some of the monthly payments. Same thing with our landlords. We're stopping some non-essential work that we've been paying for. So we're really clamping down and trying to make sure that we are focused on our cash flow. Secondly, we're also trying to take advantage of every possible state and federal grant or loan that's out there to help bridge the gap from a cash perspective as well. The executive team's intent is that we want to continue to maintain our entire workforce through this period of time. So many other companies out there right now are doing layoffs and furloughs and shared work programs, and I think that's fine. There may be a point in time where that is the inevitable, depending on how long this goes and what the ripple effect is. But right now, our focus is on you. How do we maintain every employee to be part of this business. So we're looking at cash conservation. We're looking at state and federal programs and other DECD programs that have recently been released. And so those are the two major things we're working on. There are two other things that we've made the decision to do that would also help conserve some of the cash. That in particular is we've had profit sharing checks that we're going to be ready to be paid out for Q1's profit sharing. And we're going to hold off on those, paying out those profit sharing checks. And we're also going to hold off on the merit increases that were scheduled to go through here in April. Our intent for both of those is once we come out of this, is it to be retroactive. I can't promise that based on how long this has to go. But right now, I'd rather, and the executive team would rather focus on cash conservation to try to maintain all employment and not having to make any severe cuts within the business from salaries as well as to the number of folks in the workforce. So that's what we're making the decision on now. We're going to hold off on distributing profit sharing checks, and we're going to hold off on the merit increases with the intent for those to be retroactive depending on how long this takes to go through. I can assure you that every day the executive team is talking about you. How do we continue to make sure we communicate properly? How do we continue to make sure you get what you need? And how do we continue to make sure you guys are safe, that everybody in the business is safe so that we can maintain continuity of operations and make sure our customers are getting what they need? If you have any questions at any time, text me. I know some of you have reached out from some of the things I've mentioned. I appreciate that. Continue to work hard, continue to be flexible, continue to be proactive, and continue to get product out the door. We've got just a few days left in the quarter, and wouldn't it be an amazing thing if we can hit plan in Q1, given the pandemic that's hitting the world and how it's affecting so many other companies. If we can rise to the top and get all this stuff out for our customers, that bodes very well in us for the long term. So stay well, stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.